follow me on Instagram recently, you'll know I've gone a little bit hyperlapse mad. And that's because I've bought the DJI Osmo Pocket. It's small, it's handy, and it's powerful. Those are sort of my favourite things about any device, so it's great for me. Rather than use it as an all-round camera, the main things I want to use it for are time-lapses, hyperlapses, and getting decent B-roll on those days where it might not be practical to take a full-size gimbal with me. I'm going to do a load of plus points and then a load of minus points and then some tips. Let's do it. First of all, shooting hyperlapses, I'm very happy to report, is absolutely a walk in the park. I just stick it in video mode in 4K 24, and you can activate active track just by tapping the screen and it'll lock onto something like a building or whatever your focal point is, and then literally you just walk. If you walk and get 3 to 5 minutes of footage, I think condenses into a decent hyperlapse, you're onto a winner. I have tried to sort of do the ninja gimbal walk, and I have also just walked at a regular pace having a chat as I'm filming the hyperlapse, and both have worked pretty well. The gimbal works brilliantly in this scenario. All you have to do with your sort of 3 to 5 minutes of footage is smush it and you're done. Maybe add a bit of warp stabilizer if you fancy. Sometimes you need it, sometimes you honestly don't. And also, if things are going past the frame, you can sometimes add a bit of motion blur in post to sort of sell the effect. If you want a tutorial on this, do let me know, but it's quite simple to do, and it does make a little bit of a difference. I need to emphasise again just how good the active tracking is. If we compare this to last year, when I did a traditional hyperlapse with sort of a tripod or a monopod, and you take a step, take a photo, take a step, take a photo, it takes ages. No one's got time for that. I did that last year in this spot, and the results were okay, but not worth it given the amount of time that I put in. So I went back with the Osmo Pocket, tapped the active track, and just walked. I intended to stop at the arch, but the active tracking was so good, it actually followed the arch underneath and out the other side. I kind of had to adjust with the gimbal to make sure that I wasn't in frame, but it blew my mind. In terms of the amount of effort that took, which was just walking at a regular pace, it's just, the outcome's brilliant. Another thing I love is it is really instant on. From the moment you take it out of your pocket, press the on button, you are ready to record in, I believe, like 5 seconds. If you want to catch something relatively quickly, or if you just have an idea or whatever, it's just bang, off you go. No balancing, no sort of pre-planning, you can just shoot as and when. Very, very handy. One of my misgivings when I first saw this device was I thought it would not be very robust at all. I thought having a little camera on the little gimbal and having it sort of free to move was just a recipe for disaster. But I'm very, very happy to report that the build quality is brill. I wouldn't want to drop it headfirst from a great height, but it does feel secure and like, you know, it's DJI, so you know the quality is going to be good. Another little touch from DJI is the case that it comes with, which is perfect. You can get the device in and out easily, and my favourite thing about it is it leaves a little gap for the USB, which is what you would stick into your camera, and so you don't have to take that off, you can just leave that on. I leave it on all the time and it works brilliantly, so you can put it in the case as is. Love it. Speaking of docking it to the app, I was afraid that you would have to use the app for a lot of things, because I hate apps. You know, you buy a device this big and then you attach it to a phone and just think, I could be holding my camera at this point. So I really didn't want to use the app unless I absolutely have to. And I'm very happy to report that A, when you dock the Osmo Pocket, it works, which is a miracle in and of itself, because sometimes you sat there with connections for ages and it just, you know, with other devices things are just less seamless than the advertisements make out. With this one, it is very easy to dock and off you go. And also, you can set everything up, even set motion time lapses up independently. It's a little bit buried in the menu. It's a little bit of a faff with the little screen, but it's better to me than having to use the app. Handy hack, while I'm on about motion time lapses, you can either set your waypoints on the phone and leave it attached throughout, completely disregard the phone and muddle through with the tiny screen, or connect to the phone, set it up, unplug it, and then press record. So cool. Another thing I love, which is the bane of my life when it comes to normal gimbals. I don't know why people don't rant about this all the time because it really annoys me. When you want to do a sort of a tilt up with a standard gimbal, 90% of the time, of all the gimbals I've ever tried, which is like 10, the default speed of the joystick is always unusable. It's always too fast and it just ruins the shot. There's nothing cinematic about the camera going boom. You can change that with normal gimbals, but it does involve sticking it in the app, changing the settings, and then usually when you turn the gimbal off and on again, the whole thing resets. Pain in the ass. Pain in the backside. I hate it. With the DJI Osmo Pocket, the joystick speed, which you can use on the virtual screen, is a sensible speed. Very seamless. You can just push up and the gimbal moves in a logical way. It doesn't go wah like most larger gimbals do. No faffing, no settings changing, it just works. I fully anticipated needing to buy the physical dial thing, you know, the accessory you can buy, but actually the screen one works perfectly fine. I do have dinky hands though, so bear that in mind. The little screen might be slightly easier for me to use than if you have man hands. Another one of my initial concerns was that the battery is built in. You know, you get into the habit with gimbals, cameras, even active microphones, where you can take loads of batteries out with you, and if something dies you can just swap it out and off you go. I was a bit miffed that with this one you couldn't buy extra batteries because it is a dinky device and you don't know how long the battery's going to last. One, the battery lasts a heck of a lot longer than I was expecting, and two, you can charge it as you're using it via a power bank. So if you're in between locations, you can leave it charging in the car, or even if you want to set it up for a motion time lapse, you can leave it on the power bank to charge as it goes. Because it is a device that you will sort of film something with and then maybe want to share something instantly, you can film vertically. You can just turn the Osmo Pocket into the vertical position and off you go. So you could potentially film something for Instagram stories, click it into your phone, copy it over and have it online in a matter of moments. I really do like that for video. I wish it would do more things vertically, which is my first negative point. On to the negative points. How smooth was that? While you can film vertically, you could potentially film a hyperlapse vertically just using a normal film and then smushing it in post. I was really hoping that you could do vertical time lapses, vertical motion time lapses, and maybe film with a time lapse vertically to create some kind of instant vertical hyperlapse. Not the case. You can set it up via the phone, but the minute you try and press record when the gimbal is sideways, it just goes, stop moving the gimbal. Stop it. Put it back to like horizontal mode. So completely not usable for instant sort of time lapses and things for Instagram. You'd have to film it horizontally, stick it in Final Cut, edit it, make it vertical, and then at that point you may as well have just used a normal camera. So I wish and hope that they will add more vertical functionality going forward. The biggest negative, which I believe a lot of reviews do point out, no different here, is it is a fixed aperture. It's a fixed wide aperture as well. So your shutter speed can very, very easily just run away with you. On even a cloudy day, you're looking at 1/2000th of a second, which, as you know, if you film video a lot, that can result in quite choppy and unnatural motion blur. So I would say ND filters are more or less a necessity. It's not really something that I would ever leave home without if I was using the Osmo Pocket, because Your shutter speed can ruin the footage. Even if you have smooth footage, the shutter speed, if it's too high, will make it jittery as hell. Pain in the backside. I use the Freewell ones. It comes in a lovely case and they're all nicely labelled and it's very easy to use. They're magnetic and they just click on. You have a set of NDs and a set of circular polarising ND combos. So even if it's just slightly overcast or if you want to sort of creatively make your shutter speed longer, it's got you covered. It's got everything from I think ND4 to like 64. Really, really high quality, really simple to use, and once they are on, they do not fall off. So definitely, definitely, definitely consider getting your ND filters if you want to use the Osmo Pocket and get the most out of it. Another glaring omission, which is quite frustrating, is there's no tripod screw mount at all on the Osmo Pocket. So if you want to mount it to a tripod for your elusive motion time lapses, you have the option of either mounting your camera and then sticking your camera onto that, but I don't think DJI actually recommend you do that because it's not the most stable connection. Or you can buy a third-party one which basically converts your DJI Osmo Pocket into a GoPro mount. With that, if you have a lot of existing GoPro accessories, which I do, off you go, and if you don't, it will just be a sort of normal tripod mount, and that's the way that you can get around it. I've been using it fine. Just beware that if you do get this style of adapter, don't cover your microphones with it, because I'll go on to the audio quality in a moment, but basically if you cover one of the microphones, you're stuffed. So this lens is pretty narrow. My tiny short arms are as long as they can go, and I'm just about in frame. And I think the face track is working. Oh, I feel like I'm doing that bit in Titanic, you know, when they spin around. Okay, how do the microphones cope in the wind? It is a windy day. The DJI Osmo Pocket has two microphones. One is for recording sound, one is for noise cancellation. And I truly believe that all of the footage that you've heard online where it sounds crap is because people have big man hands and they hide and conceal and cover the noise reduction microphone. Because with my stupid child's hands, I've had really, really good audio quality out of it. So that's my theory and I'm sticking to it. Another flaw that I was full on expecting, because it's the same thing with my Mavic Pro, is the lenses and the camera itself is quite prone to flaring, and not nice flaring either. If it's in the sun, it does look a bit funky. Even if you have ND filters on, it will still look a bit funky. So just beware of where the light sources are when you film and frame accordingly. Another flaw, which I think is adorable, at least DJI are forthright about it, is you can choose the quality mode, and if you stick it on super fine, you get this adorable warning. So there we go. Those are my pros and my cons. I love the Osmo Pocket daily, no regrets buying it, and it's exceeded my expectations. I must admit, when I first saw all the sort of advertisements about it and the first looks, it felt like a Gen 1 kind of product, and I said to myself, when the second version comes out with a larger sensor and whatever, I might buy it then. But then I had no self-control and bought it anyway, and I still love it, so no regrets. Hope you like the footage. If you have any questions at all, let me know, and check out the ND filters because you will need them.